Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me. So in past videos, I've spoke on the topic of movies that are geared towards gays or movies that where the major plot is based on gays. And I spoke on this in several different videos in the past and how that either someone from Hollywood, was a Hollywood producer or a Hollywood actor, has gotten upset because they did not get the returns on their investment that they wanted. And here's another actor by the name of Billy Eichner. I believe that's his last name, to pronounce his last name. I'm not certain. I'm not really good with last names. I'm not really good with names, period. So please be patient with me. Who's pretty upset about the box office results of a film that was released that promotes their lifestyle, that it's about that type of lifestyle. It's about the gay lifestyle, bottom line. And I guess he's upset because didn't get the money back. And so he's mad, and he's basically calling out people who are heterosexuals and people who are straight. And he's calling them out, calling them names and so forth, according to this article. So I'm going to get into this article. I'm going to read this article, at least a portion of this article, so that you can hear for yourself what he has actually said. Now, some people may debate as to whether or not the article is accurate or not. Look, I just read the articles and I give my opinion on it. Whether or not it's accurate or not, I can't really say. I'm going to assume 90% of it is accurate. Just like most of you guys that watch my videos, you probably watch the mainstream news too. Maybe CNN, MSNBC, CBS. Do you assume everything that they say is accurate? Just because you see it don't necessarily mean it's completely accurate, because they only show you a snippet of it, like 30 seconds, maybe a minute. Same principle. So let's get into this article, and I'm going to give you my opinion. So it starts off with, actor Billy Eichner has spent years smearing conservatives and Republicans, attacking Christianity, and lashing out at just about anybody who disagrees with him politically. The star of Disney's The Lion King just watched his $22 million LGBTQ romantic comedy make an abysmal $4 million in his box office debut over the weekend. In response to the film's poor performance, an angry Eichner appears to blame two things. Number one, homophobia, and number two, straight people in certain parts of the country. So it's their fault, right? Let's get into this. The film, trumpeted as Hollywood's first major gay rom-com, initially received enthusiastic acclaim from critics, but has been largely ignored by cinema goers. And that's interesting because a lot of movies, not just movies that where the focus may be on the gay lifestyle, but a lot of movies that seem to get great critical acclaim usually don't do too well at the box office. Not all the time, but a significant number of movies that get great critical acclaim usually don't do too well at the box office. And may I add that part of the reason for that is because these movies that seem to do good with critics are not movies that most people want to actually see. But we'll get into that. The article continues. It is estimated to have taken just 4.8 million in receipts, half of what Universal had hoped during its opening weekend, UPI reports. Eichner, 44, launched an angry social media screed late Sunday, telling, quote, everyone who isn't a homophobic weirdo to get out and get into theaters to support his efforts. Now, do you really believe, sir, that that's going to make people who are heterosexual go out to see your movies? Well, he says everyone who isn't a homophobic weirdo to get out and go to the theater to support his efforts. Well, for one, that's not going to get heterosexual to see your movie, but here he's aiming this at those who are not. But let's just be realistic. The gay community makes up only 1 to 2% of the population of the country. So one can make an assessment that most people that went to go see the movie, sir, were gay. And they don't make up a vast majority of heterosexuals in the country. let's go on. Last night, I snuck in and sat in the back of a sold-out theater playing Bros in L.A., he wrote. The audience howled with laughter from start to finish, burst into applause at the end, and some were wiping away tears as they walked out. Really, I am very proud of this movie. He then scalded. Even with glowing reviews, great Rotten Tomato scores, and A Cinema score, etc., straight people, especially in certain parts of the country, just didn't show up for Bros. And that's disappointing, but it is what it is. He goes on to say, Eichner told, quote, everyone who isn't a homophobic weirdo to go see Bros. And he actually did tweet that. He says, you will have a blast, and it is a special and uniquely powerful to see this particular story on a big screen, especially for queer folks who don't get this opportunity often. I love this movie so much. Go Bros, he added. Eichner, a multimillionaire in his own right with a net worth of close to $5 million, is the first openly gay man to write and co-star in his own major studio film. So you see, the majors are financing this, which is to me crazy on a monetary point of view, because if you're trying to reach mass audiences, are you going to actually reach mass audiences, which is mostly made up of heterosexuals, with a film that promotes this type of lifestyle? You're probably not. And you can't make people watch these movies, but I'm going to get into that. Eichner chose, however, to sell American on his film by repeatedly attacking half her citizens. In late August, Eichner strode to center stage at the 2022 MTV VMAs and lobbed a smear-filled attack on what he called, quote, all the homophobes on the Supreme Court. There's a video of him doing this. I'm not finna listen to that. It says, that may pale in comparison to his rant last January, in which he said, quote, and evidently this is what he said. F Trump, F his whole family, F anyone that chose to work with him, and F every single Trump voter. And guess what? I'm still with her, you misogynist American dummies. Onwards. That's the end of that article right there. What kills me is, why would anyone even bother to want to watch his movies or hear anything he has to say when he rants and raves like that? Now, clearly, those are hateful words. You know, it's clear. It's interesting to me how the left wants to scream and holler about hate speech, but all I'm hearing from the left is hate speech. That's all I'm hearing. Look, folks, I can only give you what I hear and what I see. And if those words were accurate, if those words in that article, in the Breitbart News article, was accurate, and he actually said that, which I believe he did, then is that not hate speech? Why isn't he being penalized for this? Now, let me go back to, but let's let a conservative even say anything remotely of that. Come on, man. It's clearly biased. It's clearly biasness on the media. It's clearly biased political. But let me go on with this whole idea of him having a conniptive fit over his movie not pulling in the money that he wanted. Let's be realistic. I said this in the introduction. Look, that's your lifestyle. Do what you want to do, man. Look, it is what it is. But most Americans are heterosexual. Most Americans go to the movies to be entertained. Now, if you have a movie that's just about that lifestyle, whether it's a romantic comedy, a horror movie, or whatever, and it's just about that lifestyle, more than likely it's not going to make the money you want it to make. Gay people will go see it. LGBTQ people will go see it, but they only make up a small portion of the population. Don't you understand, sir? They only make up a small portion of the population. So you're not going to make the money you want to make. That movie that came out in the early 2000s, I think it was, what was it? Brokeback Mountain. Huge critical acclaim, of course. But did it make a lot of money? I don't think it did. Correct me in the comment box below, but I don't think it did. Why? Because Nobody heterosexuals don't want to see that. They just don't. Because internally, they know something is wrong. They believe, whether they admit it or not, that there's something not natural about their lifestyle. They may say, well, people can do their own thing, that's their own choice. Yes, they say that, but in their heart, they know it's immoral. And they show their disapproval by not going to the movies. Bottom line, the truth is a lie. People don't like it, but it's true. Why else would you not go see it? Now, here's the thing. A movie can have a plot, I would say a subplot that deals with that subject. And people will go see the movie not because of the subplot that deals with the homosexual subject. They will go see the movie because of the movie itself and the plot and what it revolves around. Now, that subplot may be in the movie, and the audience will tolerate that because it's in the movie. What are they going to do? Get up and walk away? They've invested in the movie. They paid for it. They're going to watch it. I'll give you an example. And sometimes it's done in the way, I mean, look at it, it's done in a tasteful way, but, you know, it happens. I'll give you an example. Back in the 80s, there was a movie that came out called The Hunger. It was a vampire movie. It had musician, David Bowie in it. Now, I forget the lady's name, but they played these vampires and David Bowie was aging unnaturally because the lady, I forget her name, Catherine, I forget the last name anyway. She had turned him into this vampire and he started aging real fast. Well, anyway, make a long story short, there's a scene in it where Susan Sarandon, I think her name is, falls in love with this female vampire, and there's this very erotic lesbian scene in it. The scene is captivating. If you haven't seen The Hunger, you need to see The Hunger. The scene was captivating, but the movie did not revolve around that necessarily. It revolved around David Bowie and him becoming this vampire and aging over the course of time very, very fast. But that scene in it was done tastefully. The lesbian scene was done tastefully. It was very erotic, and it was hard to ignore because it was so well done. People would tolerate that. Another scene where a movie had a homosexual in it was a comedy, came out in the 80s, Revenge of the Nerds. And the gay guy was a black guy, I forget his name, but he was black, and he wasn't a backseat character. He was one of the main nerds, one of the main characters, and he had a significant amount of lines. He didn't have a lot of lines, but he had enough lines for everyone who viewed the movie to know, okay, he was gay. People tolerated that. Why? Because it wasn't the main subject of the movie. Another movie was called Monster, starring, what's that lady's name? God. Came out in 2004. Very beautiful woman. I think Catherine Zero, I forget her. Oh, God, I can't remember that woman's name. Oh, but she's very beautiful. And she played the serial killer, played this female serial killer. And basically the movie, to some extent, revolved around her relationship with the woman she fell in love with because she felt rejected and dejected by men. The movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. Every time I see it, I have to watch it because it's so powerfully acted by this actress. But it's done in a way where it's not necessarily promoting that lifestyle. They're telling you this is what she did and this is the reason why she turned that way. And it's so powerful and so well acted that it would be hard for any critic not to give it good critical raise. And they did give it critical raise. Did it make a lot of money at the box office? I don't think it did. But I think the reason why it didn't make a lot of money at the box office was because it was an independently funded movie. It was independent. It didn't get great marketing. You know, and movies like that don't seem to get great marketing. Movies that they're not trying to push that lifestyle on you don't seem to get great marketing, even if they have a subplot that deals with that. But movies that have that kind of movies that make that the actual plot of the film, the executives want to push it and promote it and spend all this money. They try to push that stuff on the audience, heterosexual audiences. They say, "No, I don't want to see that. Stop." That's their way of saying stop. You're trying to push that on us. We don't want to see that. Stop trying to make us watch something, then call us homophobic. That's not the case. That's not the case. So him ranting and raving and farting and pooting over this, get over yourself, bro. If you want to, if that's what you do, that's what you do. If you make those movies, that's what you make those movies. But market it towards the people that want to watch those movies. If you want heterosexuals to watch movies like that, then what you do is you put it as a subplot. Stop trying to make it this major issue in the movie because they're not going to go see it. They're just not. It is what it is. So him calling names, talking about F Trump and F all these people. Well, they shown you. They said, well, we F you back. Basically, they said, we ain't going to go pay for your movies. That's basically what they were saying. I'm just saying, giving you my opinion on it. So it is what it is. When are these people going to grow up and see that people don't want to see these kind of movies? You live your life the way you want to live, but don't try to make me watch these movies by making it the main plot of the movie and then get mad at me because I don't want to pay for it. Use your head, man. Come on now. That's just my comment on it. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all and see you again.